Deadpool Bowl happened this weekend. I know there was a football game, but let's face it, a lot of people tuned in because of the promise of a first Deadpool trailer. Now, there's been some discussion about how big can Deadpool be. And I've been saying for a long time, Deadpool is going, as long as the movie's good, because if it's bad, then all bets are off. But if the movie's good, Deadpool will be a $1 billion film. And, there's been a lot of talk, nah. Comic book movie fatigue. I keep hearing that, which, by the way, is not a real thing. Comic book movie fatigue. It's been too long. Nobody really cares, and blah, blah, blah. Well, the Deadpool trailer, of course, did drop this weekend. And the reports have now come out. It broke the all-time record as the most viewed movie trailer in history in its first 24 hours. With 365 million views in its first 24 hours. To put that into its context, Spider-Man, the text might be some small, I'll see if I can make the text a little bigger here for you guys. That might be a little bit too big. Spider-Man, and I can't move the page, so I'm just going to go back to its regular size. Spider-Man, No Way Home, had set the all-time record at 355 million. Avengers Endgame, the first trailer, had 289. Avengers Endgame, the final trailer, had 268 million. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, as a TV show, but everybody wanted to see what the first look of that damn thing was going to be, so it says at 257. Transformers, The Rise of the Beast, everybody watched that trailer. But then Infinity War, Lion King, Thor Love and Thunder, the It teaser, and another Avengers Infinity War rounded out. I want to point out something here. The top 3 all-time viewed trailer, all of them $1 billion films. One of them, $2 billion film. Spider-Man No Way Home, almost $2 billion film. Of course, Avengers Infinity War, $1 billion film. Lion King, $1 billion film. Thor Love and Thunder, not $1 billion film. But I think this says 2 things. Number one, if y'all have been sleeping on just how much people are looking forward to seeing a new Deadpool movie, it's time to wake up. That's what this number tells us. It is time to wake up. I would even propose the numbers of the Super Bowl were a little bit higher because people knew Deadpool was going to be playing on it. People are clearly psyched and excited to see something that has the promise of being really good. I've been saying for a long time, there is no such thing as comic book movie fatigue. There is mediocre movie fatigue. If people were going to get fatigued at comic book movies, it would have been 5 years into its incredible run, or 6 years into its run, or 7 years into its run, or 8 years into the run of the MCU. Here we are in year 15. And it's not a coincidence that as the quality of the movies has dropped, that's when enthusiasm has dropped. It's not comic book movie fatigue, it's mediocrity fatigue. So when something that people believe has the promise of being really good again, something that has met expectations before, has delivered an excellent movie experience before, the 2 Deadpool films, now to have that back as the only MCU film coming out in the year of 2024 with one of arguably the biggest movie star in the world, Ryan Reynolds, good Canadian kid, of course, sporting a good Canadian haircut there. You put that out, where's all these people fatigued? Where are all these fatigued people who don't care anymore? Oh, they're rushing to their computers and they're rushing to their screens and they're even turning on the Super Bowl so they can see the first glimpse of this Deadpool movie. Don't think for a second that this movie isn't going to make $1 billion at the box office. I'm not saying it's going to make 1.5. I'm not saying it's going to make 2. But don't think for 1 second this movie ain't making $1 billion at the box office. And don't tell me that people aren't excited about comic book movies anymore. Because they are. They're just waiting for them to be good again. So I think there's a lot to take in there for this. Anyway, Chris, we're talking about people rushing out to watch the trailers more than they watch the Endgame trailers, more than they watch Spider-Man trailers. Anyway, what's your takeaway from this when you see these numbers?
I mean, it makes sense to me. This is our only Marvel film we're getting this year. It's the only one. And no matter how you feel about where Marvel's at right now, if you are still very gung-ho and you love everything they've been doing, if you are one of the people who's been saying it's a mess, they need to sort things out, Marvel Jesus is here for you, baby.
Marvel Jesus is here.
Right. Because it seems like we're working with the TVA to spruce up the timeline here. We're doing some stuff. It looks like we potentially are dealing with maybe where they fought Ultron or where Logan died. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We've got, Patch in the mix. We've got Pyro showing back up. So we've got a whole bunch of really interesting stuff happening here. And if you are a diehard comic geek, you watched this trailer like I did over and over again going, no, that's Cassandra Nova. That's not Charles Xavier. I'm very, very positive. Like, you came up with your own fan theories. This is a really exciting thing because this is what I think, at least for me, what I want when you do multiverse is, okay, well, then how do we do what they did in comics and we gear down towards what we all really like or gear down to what really is going to work well? And I think if you do this whole Deadpool kills the MCU and kills like the Fox universe and combines what we want, does kind of cafeteria style with these things, so we have a little of this, a little of that, we can end up with a really amazing Marvel universe again. And at the very least, we're going to have a really weird, raunchy movie that features pegging. Pegging and Disney in the same sentence? Oh, what a day to be alive.
We talked about that yesterday, that, one of the big concerns a bunch of people had is that, well, now that it's a Disney, they're going to keep the leash on the Deadpool movie. They're not going to let them really be Deadpool. They're going to make them...
Yeah, but it's like a BDSM leash.
Yeah, they're going to tame them down, right? And I feel like one of the reasons, I think that was the reason that within the first number of seconds of this trailer, they have Deadpool making a pegging joke, saying, listen, pegging's nothing, isn't new to me. I know it's new to Disney. Doing that just to kind of telling the audience, this is the Deadpool you know. This is the Deadpool you remember. And, now that Kevin Feige, again, has his power, we've already seen a couple of the major things Kevin Feige's done since Bob Iger came back and gave him his authority back, which Bob Chapek had stripped away from Kevin Feige. He stopped production on Daredevil Born Again, said this isn't good enough. Our mandate before had been just rush this thing out and get it ready for Disney Plus. I now have the power again to make the decisions. Great. We're stopping what we're doing on Deadpool Born Again. We're going to scrap everything we did. We're going to go back. We're going to start with a new story. We're going to tell this. With Captain America 4, we saw one of the first things he did was, you know what? We're not going to rush this out the door the way I was mandated to before. Now it's my power. It's my decision. We're going to stop production on Captain America 4. It's not good enough. It's not up to our standards. We're going to go back. We're going to do extensive reshoots and make it the movie that it needs to be again. This could be, and I say could, right? Because it could not as well. This Deadpool movie could be the beginning of the resurgence of the MCU. Now that Kevin Feige's got his power back, they seem to be concerned about quality control again. And obviously, contrary to popular belief, when you drop a trailer that becomes the biggest trailer in the history of cinema...
And it was a teaser.
Yeah, and it was a teaser. People are clearly still very, very hungry for it. They're just hungry for quality.
Yeah.
Something that they haven't been getting a lot of the last couple of years. And if Deadpool can deliver that, and if Kevin Feige can right the ship, this could be the beginning of the resurgence. I'm getting tired of complaining about Marvel's quality. I want to go back to the time when we just got to celebrate how great Marvel was. But we haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis. Here and there we have been.
Yeah, Guardians.
Shang-Chi, Guardians, WandaVision, but not on the consistent level that we used to be able to. And it'd be nice to be able to get back to that. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Harry's. Guys, in order to start the John Campea Show, I had to leave my high-paying corporate job in order to set myself up to be happier and enjoy more personal success. Because sometimes to get what you want, you have to challenge the status quo and blaze your own trail. And that's exactly what the folks at Harry's did. You see, at Harry's, they saw customers getting ripped off by questionable products in the shaving industry and decided to do something better. Harry's decided to pave their own road by making beautifully designed razors for a fraction of the price of the other big brands. Exceptional products,
honest prices. That's Harry's. I have fallen in love with Harry's, from their foaming shaving gel that feels just luxurious on the skin to their incredible razor that feels just as good in the hand as it does going over your skin. They've got rich, lathering, skin-softening body wash in scents like redwood, wildlands, and stone. You see, Harry's provides German-engineered blades made in their own factory that stay sharp longer. You can get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover for just $3 at harrys.com/Campea. Don't settle for the status quo. Blaze your own trail with Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/Campea. That's harrys.com/Campea for a $3 trial set.
So let me put the question to you, Chris. I'm saying, when you clearly see the ravenous hunger people have for Deadpool, biggest trailer of all time now, how are you feeling now about its chances to make $1 billion at the box office?
I feel really confident in it. And I know some people think that this is too inside baseball. It's too meta of a movie. But again, this is our one of 2 bits of superhero fare that we are getting. And Deadpool's superpower, ultimately, as a movie, has been being real sneaky about what genre it actually is.
Yeah.
That first movie is a rom-com. It just happens to have superheroes in it. It just happens to have some raunchy humor in it, but it's a love story, right? This is a buddy movie that we're getting here. I think it has a lot of potential. People love Ryan Reynolds, as they should. People love Hugh Jackman, as they should. We have so many cameos happening in here that hopefully are there to be quality and fun and meaningful, not just a whole bunch of just overstuffing. But I think this could do really, really well, so long as those reviews are positive. Because that's the other thing that Marvel is really, really facing. Same with DC, obviously. Anytime we have superhero movies, when the word of mouth isn't good, people stay home because they just wait for things to be streamed now. What Disney really has to do here is make sure that this is something you cannot miss. You have to have your butt in a seat and you have to see it on a big screen.
Now, I'm going to be curious to see what happens when they put out, I don't know how many months we're going to have to wait for the next trailer, but when they put out the next trailer and it's going to feature more Hugh Jackman, then to see, I don't know, will the next trailer beat this one? Now, remember, the Avengers Endgame trailer, the first trailer, was their most watched trailer. The second trailer, down a little bit because there's that excitement of the first one. I wonder if the second Deadpool trailer will break this record when they feature more Hugh Jackman in it as well.
It could. You always have those people too. My husband's like this of he'll see the teaser and then, okay, that's all I need. I don't want to have any other information spoiled for me. I don't want to have any other preconceived notions. He did it with the Star Wars movies and he does it with all of the Marvel movies of I just want to go in here with as little information as possible, which hurts my feelings because he doesn't watch me at work.
In it. Then he wants to see
well,
all
if
the
Helen
trailers.
Mirren's in it, then yeah, he watches it.
Yeah,
all
Helen Mirren's in there all day.
He says,
all
please
day.
leave, and he lights some candles, you know.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.